about what should be done. And I'm wondering, how do you manage that as people who are advocating for change? How do you manage when parents have all these different opinions, even about what should happen in one school, or what should happen across the district, whether the schools continue busing, whether they shouldn't, whether there should be diversity, whether there shouldn't? How do you manage all those things? Because I find myself being a strong personality, I just want to say, no, this is what I want to do, and I want all y'all to come and help me with that. But of course it's about what do all those parents want to do, and how do you get them to come together and say, okay, let's work towards a common goal, even if we don't agree all on all the little particulars.
See, that's the beauty in all of it, is finding a way in the medium for everybody, because every parent is different, just like every child is different. And I think it's a healthy discussion, you know, for everybody to just disagree, because again, everybody wants something different. You know, it's a lot of things that people advocate for in San Francisco, and I sit here like, shit, I got 4 kids going to college. I don't need none of that. I need that. You know, and so I can go and be a part of those groups, but I don't really have too much to add. You know, I can be, and sometimes just showing up and just being supportive of whatever their needs or their issues are, then, you know, then it's reciprocated, then they'll show up and just kind of support yours. And through that process, it's just a lot of learning that's going to take place, because everybody's always at something different. So that's just primarily how I kind of, you know, move around it. And then find people who think like me, that we can just go raise hell. Scare everybody else. So I just find people with like-minded.
So I say it's a leadership issue again. Parents, I always found as my partners. As a leader, you need to set boundaries of what your parents can and cannot do. So, you know, my parents are not going to tell me who I can hire and fire as teachers. But they can certainly have a voice of what they need for their kids, because they should know better than anyone in the school building what their kids need. And I've actually found when you give parents a platform to be able to express what they need, they will organize among themselves. And so if it's something like, and it's usually things like, we want our kids to learn a foreign language. Well, that's great. And then, you know, they'll find the resources to get someone to come in and do. Or like with kids, somebody wanted to teach kids etiquette because they were passionate about girls didn't know how to do social graces, so they did it. They volunteered. I think it's wonderful. I think we don't take advantage of what parents bring. We have wonderful gifts in the African American community, like quilting and all sorts of things that speak to our culture, that if you let parents come in and volunteer, they would teach. That's all teaching to me. It's not about some stupid star test. It's about teaching them where they come from. And that is a wonderful thing that parents can do.
And can I add just one last point? I know we got to go. I would simply say that when you are, because San Francisco, I mean, I'm just talking about San Francisco has this issue with just trying to make everybody a leader and everybody just think they can lead, just like I said, because you can have a kid, that don't make you a parent, or that don't make you a qualified parent. And in San Francisco, everybody just think because they can go down to City Hall and talk, they are now a leader. So you got a lot of people that's delusional, seeking 15 minutes of fame, thinking they leading somebody, when if you ask them to explain the whole process to you, they're just looking at you like, what do you mean the process? And so you just got to be really, really careful, and don't burn a lot of energy, because people will wear you out. I love people, but they will wear you out, especially with their just little pet issues. Again, you may be talking about an algebra class, and they talking about cheerleaders. I mean, it's just I just see it, and that's why I just kind of really stay away from all of it, because no, I just raise hell in my own corner.
But I think the biggest thing to keep in mind is the mission should be what's best for the greater community of kids. So if it's central around who your real stakeholders are, that should be what makes the priority of what parents are doing.
And I'll just add, I think this is probably, I just got asked this question yesterday. So part of what is so unique about Coleman's campaign is that we have literally worked with parents over a very long time to just say, put it all on paper. Like if you could design an education system for your specific child, what would it look like? Not knowing terminology, not knowing even possibly what the system looks like now. And we start with people there because that's their vision. And if people have a vision for what they want, then you can get to places of, oh, well, your vision matches to my vision, and my vision matches to this person's vision. What you do after that vision is where you build consensus. And I think that one thing that is extremely important to us, our parents have to know what the system is right now. They have to know how it's broken right now. Because this notion that if they don't know how it's broken now, they'll recreate the same thing. And I think that's the issue in the community is we are pointing to lack of knowledge. You all know something individually and collectively that maybe we individually and collectively don't know. There are things I know that many people don't know. But it's my responsibility, just like it's going to be your responsibility, to educate people on what you know and what exists right now. So that when they think about their vision for what they want for their children and for their community, they know what not to go do. And if you know what not to do, you're closer to knowing what to do, in my opinion. Because you know not to kick a child out of the classroom because you know that child's going to end up somewhere else. And if you don't have an answer to where that somewhere else is, then you can work on, well, where should that somewhere else be? And it's a process of inquiry and questioning. But I think you have to teach people how broken the system is. And if you don't know how broken it is, that's also y'all responsibility. You can't make change unless you know where you're starting from. And I think that's just fundamental to organizing. We don't just start out of the blue. I wish we could, but it really is a science. It's a very thoughtful science to say, this is how we're going to move a base of people who have not known something to knowing everything. And it's an essential component to school reform. You will not see school reform in this country that has been self-done. It's always been some group of parents or some group of community members pushing the system to literally do something different. It's a part of it. You can't make change without it. Someone has to be accountable, and someone has to demand the accountability.